Hello, and welcome to TD's Pokemon Lair. I'm TD and this is Lair. And today we're unboxing another box of PSA graded Pokemon cards I received about a month or so ago. In this box, professionally packaged, safe and sound. Let's get them out here and see what grades I got. Let's take a look at this 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Misty Seel, a first edition, the number 91 card. Look in the front of this card, you can see the graphics and surface are very clean. There's no dirt damage or grime or creases. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think it's all within tolerance or the spec. And looking at our corners and our edges, they're nice and clean with no damage. As we look to the back of the card, you can see our centering from top to bottom and left to right is all within tolerance. Looking at it, and it looks really good. Looking at our surface and our graphics, they're nice and clean with no dirt, grime, or any other damage. And looking at our corners and our our edges are very clean. The only issue I see with the corners is the upper right corner has some damage. And that's going to give us a grade of 9. Man, 9's a nice. Here is a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Misty Staryu, a first edition, the number 92 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, it looks awesome. There's no damage. The graphics look great. Our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think, is all within the tolerances. Our corners and our edges are really clean with no damage. As we look at the back, you can see that our surface and graphics are clean, real nice and awesome, no issues there. Looking at our corners and our edges, they're very clean, surprisingly, and our centering from top to bottom and left to right, it looks really good, probably within spec. And we're going to get a grade of Gym Mint 10. That's awesome. You're looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Sabrina's Abra, a first edition, the number 93 card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, it looks really good and clean. There's no dirt, grime, or bends or creases. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's okay, but left to right, it's towards the right. Probably taking us out of the 10 spec. And our corners and our edges look really nice. As we flip this card over, the back surface looks really clean. I don't see any dirt, grime, or bends or creases. Looking at our corners and our edges, the upper right corner has some damage, but the rest of it looks real good. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, again, I think it's within tolerance, but left to right is towards the left. I think that'll take us out of the 10 spec, but we'll see. And we're going to get a grade of 9. That's pretty darn good. We're looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Sabrina's Abra, a first edition, the number 94 card of this set. This Abra looks really clean. I don't see any problems with the graphics or the surface. Our centering, I think, from the top to bottom, left to right, is all within the tolerance for a decent grade. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they're very clean with no damage. As we gander at the back of the card, you can see that our centering looks really good from top to bottom, left to right. Looking at our surface and our graphics, I don't see any issues or damage on them. Looking at our corners and our edges, the two right corners has some very slight damage. And we're going to get a grade of 9. That should have been at least maybe a 9.5. I don't know. Check out this 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Sabrina's Drowzee, a first edition, the number 95 card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, it looks awesomely clean. There's no damage. I love the graphics. It looks really good. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think that's all within the top tolerance. And looking at our corners and our edges, they're very clean, and I don't see any damage. Flipping the card over, we can see that our centering looks pretty good from top to bottom. Actually, it might be slightly to the top, left to right, and slightly to the left. And looking at our corners and our edges, it looks pretty good. I think they're really clean. Looking at our surface, it looks really clean. I hope that centering doesn't take us out of the 10 grade. And we get a Gym Mint 10 grade. Wow, the centering isn't as important as I thought on the back. We are looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Sabrina's Gastly, a first edition, the number 96 card. Look at the front of this card, the graphics look really crisp. There's no dirt or damage to them. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think it's slightly towards the right and maybe a little bit towards the top, but possibly within an upper tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, they look really clean. I don't see any damage. As we look at the back of the card, our surface and graphics look really nice. I don't see any damage to them. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's still slightly towards the top, and left to right, it's slightly towards the left. Looking at our corners and our edges, our upper right corner and lower left corner both have some slight damage. And that's going to give us a grade of mint 9. I'll take those. Let's look at this 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Sabrina's Gastly, a first edition, the number 97 card. The front of this card looks really great. The graphics are really vibrant. I don't see any damage to the surface of this card. Our centering from top to bottom looks really good from left to right. I think it's within tolerance also. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they're really nice and clean. As we look to the back, you can see that the surface is clean. There's no dirt or damage to the graphics. Our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think, is all within the specs. And looking at our corners and our edges, you can see that there's some damage to that upper right corner, and there's some very, very slight damage to the other 3 corners. And we'll get a grade of mint 9. Man, I'll take those all day long. Look at this 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Sabrina's Porygon, a first edition, the number 98 card. This card's graphics look really clean. I love Porygon, and looking at the surface of this card, it's really nice. There's no damage. Our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think, is all within a good tolerance. And looking at our corners and our edges, they're very nice. As I look at the back of the card, I like what I'm seeing. The surface is really clean and vibrant. Our centering looks great from top to bottom and left to right. Looking at our corners and our edges, they look really good. There might be a slight speck of damage on that upper left corner though. And we'll get a grade of Gym Mint 10. Porygon got a 10. Love it. Here is a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Sabrina Psyduck, a first edition, the number 99 card. Looking at the front of this card, it looks really good. Psyduck's graphics look clean and crisp. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think it's all within top tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, I don't see any damage. Taking a look at the back of the card, it's looking really awesome. There's no problems on the surface or graphics. They're really clean. Looking at our corners and our edges, they look nice. I don't see any damage on them. And our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think, is within the top tolerance. This should be a good grade, and it is of a Gym Mint 10. I love it. Thank you, I love it. You're looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Challenge Blaine, a first edition, the number 100 card. Looking at the front of this card, Blaine graphics look great. I don't see any issues or damage. Looking at our surface, the rest of the surface of the card, I don't see any dirt or grime. It looks great. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think that's really close to the top tolerance. And our corners and our edges, I don't see any damage at all. Looking at the back of the card, I think the centering looks great from top to bottom and left to right. Looking at our our surface and our graphics, I don't see any dirt or damage to them. Looking at our corners and our edges, there's some little bit of damage on the upper right corner, maybe the lower right corner, but the rest of the card looks really pretty good. It should be an okay grade. And we'll get a grade of excellent mint 6. Man, that should have been a lot better. I don't know what happened. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe. And remember, you got to catch them all. Have an awesome day.